Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Crochet with Diane. I've got a beautiful stitch tutorial for you today and it's called the feather stitch, and as you can see it is really pretty, and it is also nice and thick and squishy too. It looks the same on both sides, and would you believe it is a 1 row repeat. It is a lot easier than it looks. All you need is a couple of setup rows and then it's a 1 row repeat. That is done in one colour, which is a light worsted weight with a 6mm crochet hook. I've also done a little sample in a where I've changed colours every 2 rows, so you can get an idea of how pretty and versatile this stitch is. You can change colour in any sequence that you like, but you can make some beautiful projects with this. I'm going to, this one is done in a double knit yarn and a 5mm crochet hook. I'm going to show you this one step by step how to make this stitch. If you find any value from this video, be sure to hit that thumbs up like button, or put in the comments if you would like to see more of this type of video so I can know what I need to bring to you. So let's get on with the feather stitch. So to start, make your slip knot, and your foundation chain is going to be any even amount of stitches. So if you can divide it by 2, that's any amount is good. Any even amount. So I'm just going to make a small swatch for this video. So yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, your regular chain stitch for any even amount to the width that you want your project to be. So continue to make your chain stitch and I'll meet you ready for row 1. So for row 1, we're going to make a half double crochet stitch. In the UK, that's a half treble crochet. And we're going to make that into the second chain from the hook. So yarn over, count 1, 2, put your hook in, yarn over and pull up a loop. You've got 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Now we're going to make a half double crochet in every stitch along your foundation chain. Okay, so continue till the end of the row, making half double crochet in every chain along your foundation row. So for row 2, there's your row 1. Row 2, you're going to chain 1 and turn your work. Now we're going to make a half double crochet into the very first stitch. So yarn over, hook in, pull up a loop, make a half double crochet stitch. Then chain 1 and skip 1 stitch, and then half double crochet into the next. Chain 1, skip 1, half double crochet into the next. Chain 1, skip 1 stitch, half double crochet into the next. And repeat just like this all the way along the row. So chain 1, skip 1 stitch, half double crochet into the next. Repeat all the way till the end of the row. So here we are approaching the end of the row. So we chain 1, skip 1 and put your last half double crochet into this chain 1 space here. So yarn over, pop this into the very corner chain, make your last half double crochet. So for row 3, chain 1 and turn your work. So we're going to make a half double crochet into this chain 1 space here. Hook in, make a half double crochet, then chain 1. And now we're going to make our first feather stitch. To do that, we yarn over. We're going to put our hook in back into that same chain 1 space and pull up a loop, and keep your loops nice and loose and tall. Then we're going to yarn over again, and if you look at your work, see this row below here where we skipped in between the half double crochets. We made a half double crochet and we skipped a stitch. We're going to put our hook into that skipped stitch there. So into there. Hook in. Grab your yarn and pull up a loop and pull it up nice and tall, up to the height that you're working your stitch already. And leaving all of these loops on your hook, yarn over again and put your hook right into find your next chain 1 space, put your hook in there and bring up another loop. Now you're going again, keeping your loops nice and loose. You'll have 3, 6, 7 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through all 7 loops. Then chain 1. And that is your feather stitch. to make the next one, we're going to start in the same chain one space that we finished the last one. Excuse me. So yarn over, put your hook back into this same space that we just finished this last feather stitch. Hook in there and pull up a loop. Again, keeping your loops nice and loose. Yarn over again. Come down here, look at your work, and you'll see the row below, we've got that skipped one stitch there. Put your hook into that stitch, through, and then yarn over and pull through a loop and pull it up like that. Then yarn over, find your next chain one space, hook in there and pull up another loop. So you've got 7 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 7 loops. Then chain 1. Okay, let's do that again. So you always start your next feather stitch in the same chain 1 space that you ended the last one. So yarn over, hook into that same space and bring up a loop. Yarn over, come down to that skipped stitch there from the row below. Put your hook into that skipped stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop and bring it up nice and tall. Then yarn over and put your hook into the next chain 1 space and bring up another loop. You're going to have 7 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 7 loops. Then chain 1. And this is how we're going to continue all the way along the row. So I'll keep going nice and slow. There's your first one, then yarn over again, find that skipped stitch there, put your next one in there, bring up a loop, yarn over, next chain 1 space, bring up another loop. Just wiggle the hook through those 7 loops. It helps if you keep your loops nice and loose and tall. Let's get some more wool. And again. If the wool snags slightly, you can always just help it over there. So we're moving all the way across. Okay, so we're coming towards the last chain one space here. So continue, make your feather stitch. And then place your last leg of your feather stitch into that last chain one space there. Chain one. And yarn over and put a half double crochet into this chain one space here. Okay. So we're going to repeat this row over and over again. So once you've set up the first 2 rows, it is a 1 row repeat. So let's bring this out slightly. There we go. Chain 1 and turn your work. And you'll see there's a gap here. We start each row exactly the same. Instead of half double crochet, put it into that space. Make a half double crochet stitch. Then chain 1. Start every row exactly like that. Then we move on to our feather stitch. So yarn over, hook into that same space, bring up a loop, and then yarn over, and you'll see instead of a stitch, you'll see a gap. Here's that gap. Put your hook into there and bring up a loop, nice and tall. Then yarn over, find your next space here, which is just to the left of that feather stitch here. Hook in there, bring up another loop, and you've got 7 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through all 7 loops, and then chain 1. Okay, and again yarn over and make sure you're starting your next feather stitch in the same space that you finished your last one. So yarn over, hook into that same space, then yarn over and find directly below there's a gap here. Hook in there, bring up a loop nice and tall, yarn over, hook into the next space, bring up another loop, 7 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through or wiggle them through all 7 loops. And then always remember to chain 1 in between each feather stitch. I'll show you again. Yarn over, hook into that same space that you've just finished, bring up a loop, yarn over And if you look at your work, you'll see that little gap there. Put your hook in and bring up another loop there, yarn over, and then in your next space, just to the left of this feather stitch here, hook in there, bring up another loop, yarn over, pull through all 7 loops and chain 1. So repeat that all the way along, and I'll meet you as we're approaching the end of this row. So here we are at the end of the row again, and the end of the row is always finished exactly the same as well. So we've got a feather stitch in here with the last leg in this space here, but we've got another space here. So when you've got one full space left, you know you need to put in one more feather stitch. So yarn over, make your next feather stitch, and putting in the last leg of your feather stitch into that last space right at the end there. Chain 1, and to finish the row, find your turning chain 1 and place a half double crochet right into the very edge, into that turning chain 1, half double crochet. There we go, and that finishes the row. And to start the next row, exactly the same. This 1 row repeat. And once you get going, it really is a lovely stitch to work. So you chain 1 and turn, and if you remember, we start exactly the same with a half double crochet into that space there, very first space, half double crochet and chain 1. Now we start with our feather stitches again. So yarn over, hook into that same space, bring up a loop, yarn over, and you'll see the gap from the row below, hook in there, bring up another loop, yarn over, find your next space just to the left of your feather stitch here. Put your last loop in there, yarn over, pull through all 7 loops, chain 1, and then again, starting in that same space that you just finished the last one. And then chain 1 after every feather stitch. There we go. So keep going with this 1 row repeat over and over again. So after a few rows, you can see already how beautiful this stitch is. Already coming together, looking fabulous. Okay, I just wanted to show you a few more stitches as we've got further into the pattern, because it's not always obvious where these stitches are because they've closed up slightly. So I'll just show you. So we chain 1 and turn, and then you make your half double crochet as normal, chain 1, and then yarn over, start your feather stitch, and then you can see the space, but it's just not as obvious as when you're first starting. So yarn over, and it's just this stitch directly below. Then yarn over, hook into the next chain 1 space, yarn over and pull through all 7 loops, chain 1, and again, especially as you're coming into the middle, you can see the pattern of where these spaces are. Yarn over, and it's this space here, hook in, bring up your loop nice and tall, yarn over, hook into that next space, and then yarn over and pull through all of the loops and chain 1. So, and again with this one, the space below would be this one. So I just wanted to show you that as the stitch grows, it becomes more dense. So carry on now and continue doing your row after row of your feather stitch until your project is as long as you want it to be. So there we go, that is how to make the feather stitch. Please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know if you would like to see more stitch tutorials just like this one, so I know what I can bring to you. And happy crocheting, and I'll see you next time.